She handed me divorce papers. At my own birthday dinner. In front of my parents. Her parents. Our friends. She laughed while I opened the envelope. She thought I would cry. She thought I would beg. Instead, I signed them. And what her cousin whispered in my ear seconds later, that flipped the entire room upside down. If you've ever felt humiliated, dismissed, or emotionally cornered in a marriage, hit like, subscribe, and stay with me. Because this husband-wife story transformation isn't about revenge. It's about the quiet power of walking away. I turned 32 on a Thursday. Nothing special about the number. Nothing monumental about the day. But my wife Lauren insisted it had to be memorable. She chose a high-end Italian restaurant downtown. The kind with dim gold lighting, velvet booths, and waiters who glide instead of walk. The kind where every table feels like a stage. That should have been my first clue. The restaurant reminded me of something out of a scene from Frank Sinatra. Soft jazz humming in the background, polished glasses clinking, couples leaning close in candlelight. Everything felt rehearsed, like I had stepped into a play where everyone already knew their lines, except me. Lauren and I had been married for 3 years. On the outside, we looked stable. Good jobs, nice townhouse, mutual friends, holiday photos that got plenty of likes. But inside, it was different. Lauren liked control, not loud control. Not screaming matches. Subtle control. Little corrections. You're overreacting. That's not what I meant. You're too sensitive. Why do you always make things dramatic? Over time, I stopped bringing things up. Silence became safer. Silence doesn't get mocked. Silence doesn't get twisted. By the time my birthday rolled around, I was used to swallowing things whole. So when she insisted on hosting a dinner with both our families and close friends, I agreed. Because that's what I did. I agreed. We arrived at 7. My parents were already there. Her parents, too. My best friend Kyle, we call him K, sat near the end of the table. Sierra, her cousin, sat across from me. Sierra hadn't spoken much to me in years. She used to be warm, then distant. Now she just observed. Lauren was glowing. Not warm glowing. Electric glowing. Like someone about to perform. She kept checking her phone, smiling at something. Her knee bounced under the table. I noticed, but I said nothing. Dinner went smoothly. My dad talked about fishing. Her father launched into a monologue about refinancing his truck. My mom asked about work. Lauren barely ate. She was waiting, and then the cake arrived. The lights dimmed. Everyone sang. I blew out the candles. Before I could even grab a fork. Clink, clink, clink. Lauren stood and tapped her spoon against her wine glass. I got you something special this year, she announced. That smile. That magician before the reveal smile. She bent down and pulled out a red box with a perfect white bow. The room leaned in. I felt it. That shift, that invisible tightening in my chest. I unwrapped it slowly. Inside was a plain manila envelope. My name written in her handwriting. The handwriting she only used for paperwork. Open it, she urged. I slid out the documents. Divorce papers. Already notarized. Already signed. The silence was instant. Total. My mother froze mid-breath. Kyle stared like he'd just watched a car accident. Lauren laughed. A real laugh. Surprise. You're finally free. No more boring married life. Happy birthday. A couple at the next table turned to look. Her father stared into his wine. Her mother looked pale. And me? I felt something unexpected. Not anger. Not heartbreak. Clarity. She wanted humiliation. She wanted a scene. She wanted me small. That's when Sierra moved. She walked behind me, leaned down, her lips close to my ear. Just sign them, she whispered, and I can finally be with you. For a second, I thought I misheard. I turned slightly. Her eyes didn't waver. She meant it. Every word. I looked back at Lauren. She was waiting, hungry for a meltdown. Instead, I reached into my jacket and pulled out a pen. Anyone have a flat surface? I asked calmly. Kyle slid his plate toward me. I set the papers down, found each signature line, and signed. The sound of the pen scratching across paper felt louder than the music. Lauren's smile dropped, not slowly, instantly. When I finished, I stacked the papers neatly, pushed them toward her. Thank for the gift, I said. It's exactly what I needed. Gasps that A4 clattered. Chairs scraped. Lauren stood up. Wait, what are you doing? You're supposed to. But I didn't stay to hear the rest. I stood, Sierra stood with me. I told my parents I'd call them tomorrow. My dad nodded proud. My mom covered her mouth, eyes wet, and I walked out. Outside, the air felt sharp, cold, real. Sierra followed. Neither of us spoke until we were inside her car. The engine off. Silence humming between us. I meant what I said, she told me quietly. I've watched her tear you down for years. I stared back at the glowing restaurant window. Lauren was still inside, holding the papers she thought would break me. Instead, they set me free. At Sierra's apartment, there were plants. Books actually read. Warm light. Not staged. Not curated. Real. We drank coffee at midnight because neither of us could sleep. She told me Lauren had bragged weeks earlier about the birthday stunt. She said you'd cry, Sierra said, or beg, or chase her. That's when it hit me fully. This wasn't a joke. It was power. And when I didn't react, the power evaporated. My phone buzzed nonstop. Lauren spiraling. You're overreacting. It was a joke. Call me. My dad called too. Son, he said quietly, I've watched her chip away at you for years. Tonight you stood up. That hit harder than anything. Lauren showed up at my office the next day, crying, blaming me. You humiliated me by leaving with Sierra. You humiliated yourself, I said calmly. I just stopped participating. She grabbed my arm. I looked at her hand until she let go. This isn't over, she whispered. Yes, I said. It is. She spiraled online, posted accusations, deleted them, posted more. Even her own mother commented, honey, stop. Then one night, pounding at Sierra's apartment door, Lauren screaming in the hallway. I know he's in there. Sierra filmed. I called the police. 8 long minutes of chaos. Then flashing lights. Then silence. That was the last explosion. After that, reality set in. The divorce finalized quickly. She had already done the paperwork. All I did was sign. Months passed. I moved into my own apartment. Simple. Mine. Sierra and I took things slow. No drama. No spectacle. No power games. Just conversation. Respect. Laughter that didn't feel like performance. We faced Lauren once more at a cousin's wedding. She approached quietly. I'm moving to Arizona, she said. I was cruel. I thought I was being clever. I wasn't. There was sincerity in her voice. For the first time in years. You didn't steal him, she told Sierra. I ruined what I had. And then she walked away. No drama. No tears. Just acceptance. A year after that birthday dinner, I stood in a kitchen on a quiet Tuesday morning. No audience. No performance. Just sunlight through the window. I looked at Sierra, the woman who whispered truth when the world tried to humiliate me. And I asked her to marry me. She laughed through tears, said yes. And in that moment, I understood something. Sometimes the cruelest gift is the one that frees you. Sometimes someone tries to break you and accidentally unlocks the door you needed to walk through. Marriage isn't about spectacle. It isn't about winning. It isn't about control. It's about safety, about respect, about knowing the person beside you would never weaponize your vulnerability for applause. The night she handed me those papers, she thought she was ending me. Instead, she ended the version of me that accepted less than I deserved. That if this story resonated with you, hit like and tell me in the comments. What would you have done in that restaurant? Would you have signed? Would you have stayed? And don't forget to subscribe for more powerful husband-wife story transformations. Because sometimes the moment that feels like humiliation is actually your freedom.